All right, listen up. Are you a man who's killing it on the outside but dying on the inside? Are you a woman who's got the ring, the house, the perfect guy, yet you still cry in the shower because you feel completely alone? This episode's going to feel like a slap in the face, but it's the one you know you've been avoiding but need. Men, this might be the first time someone puts words to what you've been feeling but couldn't say. Women, this might be the first time someone names what you've been sensing for years but couldn't prove. You see, our society has successfully raised two generations of men who don't know who the fuck they are when the applause stops and nobody's watching. Women, you're starving to death emotionally right next to them, pretending it's normal because you watched your mother do the same thing. We built a culture where men are only allowed to be useful and women are expected to be endlessly understanding. The men are collapsing under the weight of their role. The women are collapsing under the weight of pretending they are fine. Today, we're burning the script to the ground. This is The Architect of Self, and I'm Carl Gregory. I'm an advanced trauma therapist certified in neuropsychotherapy, former high-risk operator, and the guy who sat across from enough men and women in crisis to see the same pattern on repeat. But before we go any further, if you're already on the edge, white-knuckling it, or if you thought about not being here, not just quitting your job, this podcast is not enough for you. Hit pause, call a therapist, text a friend, or reach out to a crisis line, 988, anywhere in the U.S. You're not weak for needing help. You're just human. Welcome to the only podcast that refuses to coddle your excuses and overvalidate your feelings. You don't need another love yourself episode. You don't need another communicate better Instagram post. You need someone to call out the bullshit that's quietly strangling you. Today's topic, the performance identity. It's that silent cancer eating men alive and leaving women in an emotional coma. Men, this is the reason you can hit every goal and still feel like you're rotting inside. Women, this is the reason you can have a great man and still feel like you're living with a ghost. And before the comfort first crowd starts typing a paragraph-long comment, relax. This isn't about blaming men. It's not about blaming women. This is about blaming the lie both of you swallowed, defended, double downed on, and then force-fed each other. The lie goes like this. Men are only valuable if they're producing, fixing, protecting, or performing. Women are only good partners if they stay low maintenance, endlessly understanding, and never ask for too much. So men disappear into the role. Women disappear into pretending the role is enough. Underneath of all that, there's a man who has no idea who he is when he's not being useful. There's a woman who has no idea how to say, I'm starving, without feeling like she's ungrateful or needy. This episode is about ripping the mask off both. We're going to talk neuroscience, we're going to talk relationships, we're going to talk addiction, but not to substances, to identity. If you're honest, you're probably addicted to who you look like, not who you are. Men, you need to hear what your nervous system is actually doing. Women, you need language for what your body has been screaming for years. So let's dive into it. Let's jump into this trap. What the hell is performance identity anyway? Well, performance identity is when your entire sense of self is built on what you do instead of who you are. It's not just, I work hard. It's, if I'm not useful, I'm worthless. For a lot of men, it shows up as 4 non-negotiable roles you were brainwashed into since the age of 5. The provider. If I don't pay for everything, I'm not a man. If you're not picking up the bill, you feel like a child. The protector. If I ever look scared or weak, I'm worthless. If you flinch emotionally, you feel like you failed the mission. The performer. Gym PRs, bedroom Olympics, closing deals, being on 24/7. If you're not winning or impressing, you're failing. The emotional rock. Feelings are for women and children. Real men fix, they don't feel. You can help anyone else, but you cannot admit that you're drowning. If you're a guy and listening to this and you feel called out right now, good. That discomfort is data. Women, if you're listening and thinking, yep, that's literally my husband, partner, ex, I want you to notice this. None of those roles include, I know myself. I can tell the truth about my feelings. I can connect without fixing. So, of course, you feel like you're with a function instead of a person. These roles, provider, protector, performer, emotional rock, become a man's entire identity. He's not Jake anymore. He's the guy who handles shit. His nervous system gets trained to treat those roles like oxygen. No role, no air. Your brain's reward system is the same circuitry that keeps addicts chasing their drug and starts lighting up every time you nail the role. You close the deal, you fix the problem, you pay the bill, you keep a straight face when you want to break. You get a surge of reward chemicals. Your internal scoreboard flashes. Good job! You're safe. You're valuable. You don't consciously think this. Your nervous system does. Win, achieve, solve, impress equals your internal casino pays you out. Pause, rest, admit confusion, say, I don't know. The alarm sounds. You've trained your system to treat stillness like a threat and rest like a failure. Women, this is why when you say, can we just lie here and talk? Something in him twitches. It's not that he doesn't love you. It's that his nervous system has no idea how to exist without a job to do. So guess what happens when life forces him to stop? Maybe it was an injury, a layoff, rejection, aging, parenting, illness, or grief. He can't perform at full capacity anymore. The identity doesn't bend, it breaks. Because when your whole self is wrapped around what I do, you don't have a who am I to land on when the doing gets interrupted. So what do men do? They double down on the role or they collapse. They chase more money, chase more status, chase more validation, chase more, I'm fine, I've got it. Until their body, their marriage, or their mind files for divorce. Women, this is the point where you usually start saying things like, I don't recognize him anymore. Well, he's here, but he's not here. I feel like I lost him and he's still alive. You're not imagining it. You did lose him. You lost the human to the role. This is the performance trap. You only feel okay when you're performing, so you perform more, which makes you even more terrified of stopping, which makes you perform even harder. Congratulations, you're now addicted to your own identity, not your real identity, the fake one. Let's talk about how this script is currently murdering men. Let's talk fallout. Because your nervous system doesn't care how good your Instagram looks. Here's what's showing up in real life. Men are about 4 times more likely to die by suicide than women. A disturbing number of men will quietly admit they don't have a single close friend they can call at 3 a.m. Many 30-something men today are dealing with hormone issues, burnout, and fatigue at ages their grandfathers were still climbing ladders and lifting engines. Porn addiction, workaholic, rage, emotional shutdown, all off the charts. That's not a vibes issue. That's a wiring issue. When you grow up being told, man up, stop crying, no one cares about your feelings, just get the shit done, you don't learn how to feel. You learn how to perform instead of feeling. So what happens to the feelings? Well, they don't disappear. They get buried. They stay trapped in your body and in the parts of your brain that don't have language. They never build the skill of taking, I feel like a failure, and turning it into words. So it sits and piles and piles and piles for 10, 15, maybe 20 years. During the day, your prefrontal cortex, the thinking, planning, keep it together part of your brain, it's on duty. You caffeine it, you distract it, and you put it in a suit. At 3 a.m., it clocks out. And all those buried feelings, they throw a prison ride in your skull. You wake up feeling like you want to cry, punch a wall, or disappear. By 6 a.m., you've slapped caffeine, nicotine, porn, or pre-workout on top of it and shoved it back into its cage so you can get shit done again. That's not strength. That's a hostage situation. Men, if this is you, you're not crazy. You're overloaded and untrained. Women, if you watch this from the outside, the 3 a.m. pacing, the short temper, the shutdown mornings, you've probably blamed yourself at least once. You might be thinking, he's distant. Did I do something? Why can't I reach him? Is it me? Am I not enough? No. You're watching a nervous system with no emotional language, trying to stay alive using only performance and shutdown. You know the guy. 6-figure salary, shredded abs, respect from the boys, truck flashing I can go anywhere. Yet he sits in the parking lot before work staring at the steering wheel thinking, if I disappeared, would anyone actually know me well enough to miss me? Or would they just miss what I did for them? He's not successful. He's a high-functioning corpse. He's keeping the avatar alive while the actual human inside is rotting. And when that gap between the avatar and the human gets too big, the brain starts offering solutions. You could quit everything. You could blow it all up. You could just disappear. Again, if these thoughts feel too familiar, this is not your only step. It's your wake-up call. Get help. There's zero shame in calling a professional or a hotline. Silence is the real killer here, not your feelings. Remember, we told them when they grew up, man up, instead of feel this and I've got you. And now we're shocked they'd rather die than look weak. Women, part of what's breaking you is that you've been trying to be the I've got you for someone who won't even let themselves feel. That's not because you're not enough. It's because the script never gave him the tools. Let's talk real stories. I've had vets and first responders, actual badasses who ran straight into death's door and say, I'd rather go back there than tell my wife I'm scared of failing as a dad. Think about that. Running towards death feels safer than looking your partner in the eye and saying, I'm scared. That's the performance trap. Dying feels easier than disappointing the role. I've sat with men who will dissect every detail of a critical incident, but freeze when asked, when's the last time you told anyone you felt lonely? They look like they were just asked to speak alien, not because they don't feel it, but because they've never been allowed to admit it. Women, if you've ever felt that weird disconnect, he can talk for an hour about work, sports, or other people's problems, but the second the conversation turns to his fear, his shame, his sadness, nothing but static. That's not because he doesn't trust or love you. It's because he doesn't know how to step out of the role without feeling like he's failing. And it's not just badass warfighters. It's executives, blue-collar guys, fathers, husbands, quiet IT guys, gym monsters. Different dress codes, but the same wound. The story is always the same version of, I don't know how to be useful. I don't know how to be me. And if you're the woman next to that, your body knows. You feel the gap before he has language for it. Now, ladies, this is where you feel empty next to a perfect man. Let's talk directly. You didn't create this machine, but you're dating it, married to it, sleeping next to it, and co-parenting with it. And a lot of you are slowly dying next to the man everyone else admires. You're not crazy. You're not too much. You're not ungrateful. You're starving. You can have the ring, the house, the vacations, the he's such a great guy compliments, and still feel like a single mom in a 2-parent house. And the reality, you kind of are. You're sleeping next to a human doing non-human shit. Here's the ugly cycle nobody wants to say out loud. You feel lonely. You try to connect emotionally. Hey, I feel distant. Can we talk? He panics because vulnerability equals failure. He responds with a fix, solves a problem, gives advice, plans a trip, or initiates sex. You feel even more alone because your heart was talking and he answered with a toolbox. You get resentful and start criticizing. You never really listen. You never hear. He hears, I'm not enough, and doubles down on his performance. You both die slowly in different languages. You reward the exact behavior that starves you. Not because you're manipulative, because you're scared. You're scared if you ask for more, you'll be labeled needy, dramatic, ungrateful, too emotional, or too sensitive. So you do what men do. You perform. You say, I'm fine, when you're not. You have sex when you feel emotionally abandoned just to feel close for 10 minutes. You praise him for handling everything, even though what you needed from him was to sit with you. Each time you do that, you reinforce his trap. Performance is enough. Connection doesn't matter. You think you're being low maintenance, but you're not. You're starving and calling it a diet. Biologically, you're not broken. Women's mirror systems, your ability to feel other people's emotional states, are strong. You're wired to pick up on whether the person next to you is actually present or emotionally gone. So when you lie in bed next to a man who's emotionally dead, your nervous system doesn't go, what a stable guy. It goes, I'm alone in a room with a ghost. Your skin might be touching, but your brains are not. Touching an emotionally absent man gives you a small hit of oxytocin. It's the bonding hormone, followed by a crash because your body realizes we're not actually bonded. That was a trick. Do that for 5 years and your body learns sex equals emotional whiplash. Libido doesn't die. It goes into witness protection program. And let's be painfully clear. Some of you were selected for this. You wanted the man who never cries, never needs help, always has his shit together, pays for everything, handles every crisis like a robot with a cape. Well, congratulations. You got exactly what you ordered. An avatar with a reproductive organ. Now you're shocked you can't find your soul with a flashlight and a map. And this isn't just straight couples. Any relationship where one person is a designated rock and the other is a designated feeler can fall into this same trap. Performance on one side, starvation on the other. 2 people, 1 lie. I've heard this from the other side of the couch too. The women who come in and say, everyone tells me how lucky I am. He works hard. He's never cheated. He's a great dad. And I believe him. But I feel so alone it hurts. I cry in the shower so he doesn't feel like he's not enough. I don't know how to tell him that checking all the boxes still leaves me empty. She's not asking for a new man. She's asking for the human inside she already has. And she's terrified. If I ask for more, he'll hear, you're failing, and shut down. So I swallow it, and it's eating me alive. That's the performance trap from her side. She keeps rewarding the avatar and grieving the absence of the human. He keeps upgrading the avatar and never realizes the human is the one she married. Men, if you're listening, this is what I'm fine often hides. It's not nagging, it's grief. All right, let's talk about getting out of this destructive loop. This isn't a think positive episode. It's a do different or stay stuck. Men, listen like your life depends on it, because it does. Women, listen like your future depends on it, because it does. We're not going to heal this with cute little quotes. We're going to heal it with drills. Men, you first. Drill 1, the 72-hour underperformance experiment. For 3 days, preferably a weekend, I want you to deliberately underperform. Pick a few areas where you normally flex your identity. You always fix the thing. You always pay. You always initiate sex. You always offer advice. You always volunteer first. For 72 hours, don't fix the broken thing. Don't be the one who grabs the bill. Don't initiate sex. Don't offer advice unless specifically asked. Don't be the first to jump in and save the situation. You're not doing this to punish anyone. You're doing it to feel what happens inside of you when you're not needed. I want you to notice the anxiety, the irritability, the urge to justify yourself, the itch to jump in and fix something just to feel okay. That's not discipline. That's withdrawal. You're watching your identity addiction shake. Instead of numbing it, write it down. Say it out loud to yourself. Bring it into therapy or share it with a friend. Women, if you're with a man brave enough to try this, don't rush to rescue him from his own discomfort. Try saying, I see you and I'm proud of you. You don't have to fix anything right now to matter here. You're not his crutch. You're his witness. You are training his nervous system to survive, not being useful in a role. Because if he can't tolerate that, he will never be able to be fully human. He'll only ever be a tool. Drill 2, the vulnerability text. Tonight, men, pick one guy you somewhat trust. Not your partner, not your mom, not your coworker you barely know. A friend, a brother, a guy from the gym. You know who I mean. Text this. Bro, I'm struggling with. Fill in the blank. Feeling like a failure as a dad. Burnout. Feeling empty. Anxiety. Wanting to disappear. Whatever's real. And then add, not asking you to fix it, just need to say it out loud. And hit send. Don't over-explain. Don't apologize for it. Don't follow up with a meme to soften it up. You need one data point that proves this belief wrong. If the other guy sees me as weak, I'm dead. If the guy ghosts you or mocks you, cool. You just got clarity that he's not safe. Adjust accordingly. If he responds with anything remotely human, me too, call me, damn, I get that, bro. Your brain learns weakness does not equal death. I can survive being seen. If you can't think of a single man you'd text, that's your wake-up call. You don't just have a feelings problem. You have a loneliness problem. Start with a therapist or a men's group. That counts. Women, you're crumb here. If your partner tells you he reached out to another man, don't mock it, don't minimize it, and don't get jealous of it. This is the exact thing you've been begging for. Him having more emotional support than just you. Drill 3, the approval bonfire. Go grab a piece of paper. Write down everything you do to be seen as a real man. And be honest. I pay for everything. I never cry. I don't ask for help. Always know what to do. I handle it. I never say, I don't know. I always initiate sex. I'm always strong. I never say no. Then, read the list out loud. Listen to how insane it sounds when you say it in full. Then burn that shit. Well, safely, preferably not in your landlord's favorite planner. You're not doing a cute little journaling exercise here. You are performing a small piece of identity surgery. You're telling your brain, these are behaviors. They are not my worth. You can still provide, protect, and perform, but they stop being your oxygen. They become choices, not handcuffs. Women, if you're there when he reads the list, you can add. I didn't fall in love with you because you pay for dinner. I fell in love with you because of who you are underneath of all that. That one sentence can land deeper than you think. Women, it's your turn, your drills. These are not about controlling him. They're about you stopping the ways you abandon yourself. Drill 1. Stop using your body to cover emotional starvation. Next time he handles it perfectly, by fixing the problem, paying the bill, doing the chore, planning the date, but you still feel empty inside, don't override that emptiness with sex or praise just to keep the peace. Instead of having sex to feel close when you actually feel alone, try this. I really appreciate everything you do, and I also feel very lonely. Right now I need connection more than contact. You're not punishing him. You're refusing to lie with your body. When you offer affection or sex while feeling abandoned, you teach your nervous system, my needs don't matter. His comfort does. Over time, that kills desire. So stop voting against yourself. If he gets annoyed, defensive, or hurt, that's okay. You just exposed the gap. Stay calm. This isn't about you not being enough. It's about me needing more of you, not more of what you do. You're no longer rewarding performance when what you're starving for is presence. Drill 2, the sentence that ends emotional outsourcing. You only need one sentence. Say it once, calmly. I don't need another provider. I need a partner who can feel with me. That's it. Not a 40-minute lecture, not a PowerPoint on attachment styles. One clear, grounded sentence. If he hears that as you're failing and spirals, hold your ground. I'm not asking you to never provide. I'm asking you to also be present. I want you, not just what you do. If you're scared to say this because you're afraid he'll shut down, that tells you how fragile the current dynamic really is. Better to face that truth now than 10 years from now in a lawyer's office. Drill 3. Stop being his emotional landfill. Some of you have become your partner's only emotional outlet. He dumps everything on you. Work stress, childhood trauma, existential dread, and then refuses therapy, refuses men's groups, refuses mentorships. You become his therapist, his emotional support animal, his mother, his priest, and his crisis line, all in one. That's not intimacy. That's emotional outsourcing. Next time he tries to pour everything into you while refusing to get other support, say, I love you and I care, but this is too big for me. I want you to talk to your gym partner or your therapist about this too. If he scoffs, add, if you respect me, you'll respect my limits. I'm your partner, not your entire mental health system. If he does reach out to someone, great. You both win. If he refuses and keeps dumping anyway, that's not just a communication issue. That's a boundary issue. And if you're with someone who gets angry, controlling, or unsafe when you set boundaries like this, hear me very clearly. You need support and a safety plan, not just another podcast episode. Reach out to professionals, friends, or advocates who can help protect yourself. Now for both of you, daily identity statement. Every morning, say this out loud. I am valuable when I'm producing nothing. I am enough when I feel everything. My worth is not for sale. I'm still a man, even when I can't fix it. I'm still worthy, even when I'm seen in my mess. Do it when you're sitting on the edge of the bed, brushing your teeth, staring at yourself in the mirror, wondering who the hell you are. You're not casting a spell. You're rewriting code. Your nervous system is heard. You only matter when you're useful for decades. You will have to repeat the truth many times before it stops bracing for execution every time you sit on the couch and do nothing. Women, you can join him and do your own version. I'm allowed to need. I'm allowed to want. My emotions are not a burden. My loneliness is a signal, not a defect. 2 humans, not 2 roles. As we wrap this up, let this land. Men, your brain is addicted to being the hero. It loves the praise, the relief on other people's faces, the "damn, you're amazing" comments, the internal scoreboard lighting up when you fix, solve, pay, or perform. There's nothing wrong with being capable. The problem is when capability becomes your only identity. Time to kick that habit or die high on your own supply. Guys, drop the performance before the performance drops you in a box. Your kids don't need a legend. They need a human. Your partner doesn't need a superhero. They need someone who can say, "I'm scared," and stay in the room. Women, stop fucking ghosts. Stop using your body to try to pull a soul out of someone who's never been allowed to have one. Stop telling yourself you're low maintenance when you're actually disappearing. The world does not need another successful corpse. It needs alive humans, messy, feeling, grounded, accountable. If this episode made you angry, good. Anger is probably the first honest emotion most of you have felt in years. Don't go numb it. Do something with it. Share this with one guy who's quietly drowning behind his performance. Share it with one woman who's pretending she's fine next to a man everyone else applauds. Then go further. Go find one of my guided journals, confrontations to pull your soul back from the depths you've been hiding in way too long. And if you don't see a journal that you think will help you, take your mask off. Then look again. It's there. My journals take 3 minutes of your day and that's it. But the hit you will get from them when you least expect it, when you think it hasn't done anything to help, it'll blow your mind. You're going to use it to track where you perform, where you disappear, where you lie to yourself, and where you sell your worth for approval. As always, if you want any of this material to read, head over to my Substack, where it's all spelled out in letters and words. If you want to learn more about me, my journals, my books, or my theories, head over to carlhgregory.com. Remember, it's a you problem. And today's the day you finally start to fix it. Drop a comment below or DM me on Insta about what hit hardest. Share this episode with someone you think who could get something from it. Maybe your sister, your brother, friend, or partner. And be sure to like and subscribe to get alerted to the next podcast drop so you don't miss it. Stay in the fight, my friends.